Scenario: a Canadian multinational corporation with operations in multiple jurisdictions wants to consolidate its global HR data into a single database housed in Canada. Given the complexities of PIPEDA and relevant international privacy laws, what critical step must the corporation take to ensure compliance? A. Implement a privacy impact assessment, PIA, to understand and mitigate risks associated with cross-border data flows. B. Ensure the database is encrypted and access is restricted to top management. C. Transfer all employee data to Canada without specific safeguards, relying on corporate policies for data protection. D. Automatically opt all employees into the database consolidation without requiring individual consent. Correct answer: A. Implement a privacy impact assessment, PIA, to understand and mitigate risks associated with cross-border data flows. Reasoning: conducting a PIA helps identify potential privacy risks when transferring personal data across borders and devises strategies to mitigate these risks. This is essential to comply with PIPEDA, which requires adequate protection of personal information when it is transferred across national borders. Scenario: a Canadian online retailer implements dynamic pricing by analyzing customers' previous purchases and browsing behaviors. Considering the transparency obligations under PIPEDA, what must the retailer ensure about its pricing strategy? A. Only implement dynamic pricing during major sales events to minimize impact. B. Clearly disclose how personal data influences pricing decisions to customers. C. Apply dynamic pricing solely based on general market trends, not individual data. D. Ensure all customers are provided the lowest price available to comply with fairness guidelines. Correct answer: B. Clearly disclose how personal data influences pricing decisions to customers. Reasoning: transparency is a core principle of PIPEDA, which mandates that businesses inform consumers about how their personal information is being used, including its impact on pricing. This disclosure helps ensure that customers are aware of the factors influencing the prices they are offered. Scenario: a Canadian data analytics firm uses machine learning to predict consumer behavior for marketing purposes. Under the Digital Privacy Act, DPA, amendments to PIPEDA, what specific measure should the firm implement regarding algorithmic transparency? A. Publish all machine learning algorithms on the company website. B. Provide consumers with generalized information about the usage of machine learning. C. Offer detailed explanations to individuals about specific decisions made by algorithms affecting them. D. Limit the use of machine learning to non-personal data to avoid compliance issues. Correct answer: C. Offer detailed explanations to individuals about specific decisions made by algorithms affecting them. Reasoning: the DPA emphasizes individuals' rights to understand decisions made about them by automated means. This includes providing specific explanations, if requested, about how decisions were reached using personal data processed by algorithms, ensuring transparency and accountability. Scenario: a telecommunications company in Canada uses data analytics to monitor customer data usage and optimize network resources. With concerns about the sensitivity of the data involved, under PIPEDA, what best practice should the company follow to protect customer privacy? A. Aggregate customer data usage statistics to ensure individual users are not identifiable. B. Provide customers detailed monthly reports of their data usage. C. Require customers to consent to every instance of data collection. D. Implement an opt-out system for data monitoring. Correct answer: A. Aggregate customer data usage statistics to ensure individual users are not identifiable. Reasoning: PIPEDA requires that personal information be protected through appropriate measures and only used for purposes that a reasonable person would consider appropriate under the circumstances. Aggregating data to ensure anonymity protects individual privacy while allowing the company to optimize its network. Scenario: a Canadian university collects personal information from students for academic research projects. To align with the guidelines under PIPEDA, what consent-related practice must the university adhere to? A. Assume consent from students if they participate in academic activities. B. Obtain express consent from students for the specific use of their information in research. C. Use implied consent for all students upon admission to the university. D. Only collect information that is publicly available on university directories. Correct answer. B. Obtain express consent from students for the specific use of their information in research. Reasoning. Under PIPEDA, express consent is required when organizations collect, use, or disclose personal information for purposes that are not obvious, or when a reasonable person would consider that the individual would like to know and control how their information is used. This is particularly important in academic settings where personal information is used for research. Scenario. A Canadian software company develops an app that collects geolocation data from users to provide customized content. In light of recent guidance from the OPC on geolocation data, what is a crucial step for compliance? A. Only collect geolocation data when the app is actively in use by the user. B. Provide clear and detailed information about the collection and use of geolocation data and obtain explicit consent. C. Automatically collect geolocation data as part of the app's terms and conditions. D. Use geolocation data only for internal product development and not for third-party advertising. Correct answer. B. Provide clear and detailed information about the collection and use of geolocation data and obtain explicit consent. Reasoning. Given the sensitive nature of geolocation data, the OPC emphasizes the need for transparency and informed consent. Users must be clearly informed about how and why their location data is collected and used, and consent must be explicitly obtained, not assumed as part of general terms and conditions. Scenario. A Canadian online service provider wishes to use cookies to track user preferences and site usage patterns. Considering PIPEDA's requirements, what approach should the service provider take regarding cookie usage? A. Implement a cookie policy that requires users to opt in before any cookies are placed. B. Place cookies by default but provide users with information on how to disable them. C. Only use session cookies that expire after each session to minimize privacy risks. D. Inform users about the use of cookies in the privacy policy without requiring active consent. Correct answer. A. Implement a cookie policy that requires users to opt in before any cookies are placed. Reasoning. Consistent with PIPEDA's emphasis on consent and transparency, requiring users to opt in to cookie usage ensures they are fully aware and agreeable to their information being tracked. This aligns with best practices for handling personal information through cookies. Scenario. A Canadian HR consultancy wants to implement a new HR management system that includes sensitive employee data. Under PIPEDA, what is the best approach to ensure compliance when introducing this new system? A. Conduct a privacy impact assessment to identify and mitigate potential privacy risks. B. Ensure the system is compliant with international data protection standards. C. Limit access to HR data to senior HR managers only. D. Store all data on servers located within Canada to avoid cross-border data transfer issues. Correct answer. A. Conduct a privacy impact assessment to identify and mitigate potential privacy risks. Reasoning. A privacy impact assessment is a critical tool recommended under PIPEDA to help organizations identify and mitigate risks when introducing new technologies or systems that handle personal information. This process helps ensure that privacy concerns are addressed proactively, maintaining compliance with Canadian privacy laws.